Okay, hello, my name is Edel and you're listening to my presentation on the EU Floods Directive and its implementation in Northern Ireland. In the presentation I will provide a brief introduction and background to the policy. I will give some information on how the policy is being implemented in Northern Ireland and its ultimate goal. Okay, so the Directive on the Assessment and Management of Flood Risks entered into force on the 26th of November 2007. It required Member States to assess whether all watercourses and coastlines in the EU are at risk from flooding, to map the flood extent and humans at risk in these areas, and to take adequate and coordinated measures to reduce flood risk. Its ultimate aim is to reduce and manage the risks of floods posed to human health, the environment, cultural heritage and economic activity. Between 1998 and 2009, Europe suffered over 213 major damaging floods, including the catastrophic floods along the Danube and Elbe rivers in summer 2002. Severe floods in 2005 further reinforced the need for concerted action. Between 1998 and 2009, floods in Europe have caused some 1,126 deaths, the displacement of about 500,000 people, and at least £52 billion of insured economic losses. In Northern Ireland, relevant stakeholders have introduced a four-stage plan for implementation of the policy directive. As already mentioned, the directive required Member States first to carry out a preliminary assessment by 2011 to identify the river basins and associated coastal areas at risk of flooding. For such zones, they would then need to draw up flood risk maps by 2013 and establish flood risk management plans focused on prevention, protection and preparedness by 2015. Okay, to implement the directive, Northern Ireland's rivers and coastlines have been assigned into three river basin districts. The North Western and Navan are classed as international river basin districts, as the catchments include areas within the Republic of Ireland. While we in Northern Ireland are only responsible for areas within Northern Ireland, plans are coordinated for those catchments within the Office of Public Works, which is responsible for implementing the Floods Directive in the Republic of Ireland. To help localise our assessment and the eventual output of the floods risk management plans, we've further broken down the river basin districts into 6 local plan areas. This approach will help to ensure that those involved can better relate to the boundary, scale and local nature of the flood risk. Okay, so finally, the ultimate goal of this implementation is a flood risk management plan for each river basin district. These will set out the objectives, measures and an action plan for managing flood risk. The plans will focus on, as already mentioned, A, prevention, and this will include not building houses and industries in present and future flood-prone areas, adapting future developments to the risk of flooding, and also promoting appropriate land use, agricultural and forestry practices to prevent floods. B, protection, and this will include structural and non-structural measures to reduce the likelihood and impact of floods. And finally, C, preparedness, and this involves informing the public about flood risk and what to do in the event of a flood. And this final slide just provides a link to the Floods Directive viewer, and this shows you which authorities are responsible for the implementation of the Floods Directive in each member state. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much for listening.